Okay. Well, this is Isaac for Pop Scoop, and I'm talking to emerging Australian singer-songwriter Hamish Anderson. Hi
Hey.
there.
Hey, how are you?
All right. You're based in Melbourne, is that right?
Yeah.
And you made a name for yourself across that local scene, and topped the pop rock category of the Triple J Unearthed charts.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was very cool and unexpected, and that was that happened kind of before I recorded this EP, and that was kind of what started it all off.
Yeah, so did you have your demo track of Winter? Is that right? Is that the one that charted through that site?
Yeah, it was just I did like a 1-day recording session, and it was just that song, and that one got to number 1.
And that led, of course, to you going to Sydney and recording your debut EP, which is self-titled, and it's a 5-track. And that was with producer Eric Dubowski, is that right?
Yeah, he heard the Winter from that demo and then got in contact with me about recording, and that kind of just, made it all happen from there.
And he's worked with Art vs. Science, right, and Weezer and Blue Juice. And how was that to work with somebody so seasoned in the business?
Yeah, it was. I just felt really lucky to be able to work with him, and once we started to work on the songs, we really saw eye to eye on a lot of things, and it turned out couldn't have asked for a better producer.
And of course, you have big name talent playing on the tracks too. Your new single, which is coming out in November the 11th, Howl, the lead single on the EP. You have Rami Jaffe playing organ and keyboard on that. Yeah,
that was. Yeah, it was really it happened. It was really surprising. It happened very organically because we recorded the song and I didn't even know who Rami was. He wasn't in the picture then, and and then once we recorded it, Eric said that we should send it to him, and sometimes he sends him stuff, and if he really likes it, he might play on it. And we just got lucky enough that he really liked the track and played amazing organ and keys on it. Yeah, it's great. I mean, he's the keyboardist for the Foo Fighters, and then also a founding member of the Wallflowers. Yeah, it was Bob Dylan's son. Yeah, so it's great to have that talent on board with your tracks. What was the first spark that got you going in music? I think it was when I was 12. I just remember hearing the Beatles' White Album, and just the sound of the guitar I became obsessed with it, and had to beg my parents for a guitar for ages, and finally they got me one, and it just ever since then it just really has been a complete obsession. Yeah, so who else inspires you? The Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and then a lot of old blues music Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, and then all sorts really, Jeff Buckley and Ryan Adams and heaps of people. Yeah, it's great to hear that you've got some old artists in there too, because nowadays so often we hear people say, oh well, I like these artists who are playing right now, and are quite new artists, and it's great to know that somebody of your age is still into the old stuff and the classic stuff. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's just especially with listening to people like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, once you really, and Zeppelin, once you really get into them, you just kind of follow back to who they were influenced by. And then that's just, directly to the blues and old country music and folk music. Yeah, and of course, it's quite sort of specific that you said the White Album too. And is there a reason why you find that album so inspiring? I think now, especially after doing the EP, I think it's really now that I think about it, the White Album really is such a diverse collection and eclectic collection of songs. Yeah. That I think, especially I didn't really, when recording my EP, I think since hearing people say, that there's a range of styles and stuff, I think that really now makes me think that the White Album was probably a real direct influence about that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that you've got tracks like Why Don't We Do It in the Road and
back in the USSR.
Yeah.
And that's the total contrast to other songs like Blackbird. I see that on your EP too. You've got Howl, your lead single, that's coming out very soon here in the UK, and then of course on the other end of the EP you have your first track, Winter. So again, there's complete difference between up-tempo electric guitar riffs on Howl and then your acoustic ballad on Winter.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're showing your whole range there for people to listen to.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's just, like, as I said, the more I think about it and stuff, it's just like the albums that I really love, like the White Album and like Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones and all those albums. They just have such a wide range of music. And yeah, I like, a lot of those albums are really my favorite albums, and I just really enjoy albums that have, just every song can kind of be its own thing.
Yeah, because of course you don't put on a record to be in one mood for the whole record.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to go up and down and with different moods. How do you generally start a song? Do you start with a tune or lyrics? What comes first?
It seems to change all the time, but I think like Winter, for instance, was that I wrote that kind of like, I don't really ever write poetry, but like I wrote that as kind of just like a poem.
Okay.
And then like maybe a year later, I came up with this, like the music, and I just thought it would suit that song. So that was kind of an example of how that went. But yeah, it changes all the time, but yeah, sometimes it'll be a lyric that'll just set the whole thing off, or sometimes like with Howl, it was like the riff that just got the whole thing going. But yeah, it just all the time changes.
Yeah, it's very striking, the riff on Howl. Did that song change at all in the studio? I mean, did you have the riff, that you came up with, and did that then change with the studio sessions?
Yeah, definitely, because especially when I went to do the recording with Eric in Sydney, I'd really been just playing by myself, but I knew that I wanted some songs like Howl to have a real band sound to them. So like explaining, I had it in my head and I wanted it all to sound, and then like explaining that to him, and it really turned out how I had in my head, but like I had to kind of the way he had heard it, and the only way I had heard it was just me playing it by myself.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be able to actually, have a drum kit and a bass and everything, and be able to really like make it sound the way I thought it should sound.
Yeah, I mean that's hard, I guess, to to be able to try to explain what you hear in your head to somebody else, and then it's their skill of trying to kind of tap into what you're thinking and what maybe they're thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
And what artist career path do you think you'd ideally like to follow?
I really like Ryan Adams, his kind of career path, and just like really prolific, and it seems like everything for him has just really been about like following the muse and the songwriting instead of kind of like really like mainstream popularity success.
Yeah.
So I think like him, and then like a lot of people that just have really long careers, like like Paul McCartney or the Stones or like Bob Dylan, or someone that really like their whole life has just been about music.
I mean, is that how it is for you too? That you feel music every day, that it's something, it's the way that you express yourself.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of like the only thing I really can do, and the only thing I do. So it takes up a huge chunk of my life.
And if you could collaborate with any contemporary music artist, I mean, other than the ones that you have, who would you pick ideally?
I think probably someone like Jack White would be really like. Or I don't know what I would bring to it, but just like being able to watch him kind of work, and at the speed that he seems to work would be really inspiring and cool to watch.
Yeah, he's able to just put out more and more all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And like owning his own record company, that he just kind of can do the whole thing, like a one-man show.
Yeah. And so you've got your single coming out, Howl, in November, the 11th, and then the EP is following that here in the UK on the 25th. And of course, I mean, it's a bit mean to ask you about, the stuff that's coming next, but are you already working on stuff?
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because, like, with this EP, I actually recorded it in, like, towards the end of, I think it was 2011.
So it must be strange to discuss that now.
Yeah, it is. Because it was a long time waiting for it to get finished, and then we just kind of released it a few months ago in Australia, and it just, yeah, it's funny having to go back and revisit, because I feel like I've...
You moved on a bit?
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
and just because I'm constantly working. But I'm really excited, like, to put it out, but then after that I'm already really close to finishing, I think, another EP's worth of material, so I'm really excited to get some new stuff out and be able to play some new songs.
Oh, wow. Is there anything that you can slightly tell us about that, or is it all a bit hush-hush still?
No, it was kind of... I have a few more, like, new songs I want to put on it that I've just kind of written in the past few weeks, but some of the stuff I recorded in a quick session at the end of last year, and it turned out that one of the guys who played on the EP coming out with Hal, he plays with, I don't know how big they are over here, but this band from Australia called Angus and Julia Stone.
Yeah, I've heard it through your stuff as well.
Yeah. And he played bass with them, and so I met Angus and Julia and their band, and we got on really well. So, like, me and their band, we did just a week session in the studio, and the drummer for their band actually he used to play for Jeff Buckley.
Okay. And
he played on, like, Grace, so it was incredible to meet him, let alone, like, them to take the time to learn these songs and play on them. So I recorded, like, 3 songs with them that will definitely be on the next EP, and I think it's the best stuff, like, I've done yet. So, yeah, really lucky to be able to play with them and call them friends now.
Oh, that's great. I mean, do you feel you're learning a lot from them, too?
Oh, definitely. I think the main thing is, like, that it's just, I think especially early on, like, now I have my own band as well, so I understand a lot more how dynamics work with a band and stuff. But early on, I would, like, some songs I would, like, have in my head how they should sound, and I would probably try and push for them to be a certain thing, whereas, like, all these guys, when you take in a song to them, they just kind of let it be what it naturally wants to be.
Okay.
And it's not about, trying to, like, make it this certain thing or push it in this direction. They just really, like, just follow the song and let the song direct what they play.
Oh, that's fascinating, yeah. And do you now tour with the same band? I mean, do you have your type band outfit that you work with all the time? Yeah,
all around Australia. Now I have a band that I think also these, like, the new songs I've been writing the past few weeks, I want to finally do some recording with them. So that stuff's set in Australia, but just getting it over here at the moment is just a bit of a big kind of operation, but hopefully next year we can kind of, do some playing over here in different places.
Okay, are you going to gig over here?
Hopefully, next year. We don't have anything lined up at the moment because this is just kind of all the press stuff, but we'd definitely love to. I think we're planning to try and next year get across here.
That'll be exciting to hear.
Yeah, it'd be really fun.
And what are your thoughts about the importance of social media for today's music biz? So your SoundCloud, your Facebook, your Twitter.
Yeah, I think for, like, when I was recording the EP and stuff, I really, like, knew so little about it, and, like, it's funny that now I think there's people that know still way more and use it way more than I do, but, like, I've come to rely on it and use it a lot more. But I just think it's a really, like, the more and more I use it, I just find it seems to be a really great outlet for, getting people to hear your music and finding similar artists, and it really seems to be a very community-based thing, like being able to share everything, and Yeah, I mean, and that's how your stuff got heard originally. Yeah, exactly.
And it's it's a nice way to connect with your fans, of course, too, right? Yeah,
definitely. And people, and just seeing what people think about songs, and people getting in contact with you about which songs they connect with and stuff. So it's really nice for that.
And what does performing live mean to you? I mean, do you prefer live audiences or studio work?
I love them both for different reasons, but, like, live performing has really always been a real, like, passion and exciting thing for me. And, like, especially now with the band that we've played so much, whilst the EP was kind of getting finished, we had all that time to play heaps of gigs and get really tight. So now that we've kind of, like, I feel like we've reached a stage where we can really have fun with it and really, change it up. And, live playing always seems to be some of the most rewarding stuff in music.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. I mean, I've seen you've seen some of your live performances online too, and you have a lot more time to have a guitar solo in there too and show off your skills.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how songs kind of, like, obviously recorded versions of songs can really take on, like, a whole new life when doing it live.
Well, yeah, because I mean, to see to see the How video, and then also to see some live performances of how you've got a longer extended guitar solo, and there's other stuff going on. So is that something that you might take to the new recordings too? To have longer solos.
Yeah, I think I definitely like now as well. The recording, like so far, always with recording, it's like we do it live on the floor, and then I'll kind of stack on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think definitely like it seems to be becoming more and more that it's just like using the takes that really are like live on the floor and not trying to do too many overdubs and things, because it just, the closest you can get it to feeling live is always produces the best stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you, what do you have planned over the next few weeks here in the UK? Are you heading back soon to Australia, or?
Not for a couple of weeks. We're doing, kind of like some more of these interview type things, and then a lot of kind of online and radio acoustic performances and interviews, and then I think maybe heading to like Berlin for a little bit.
Exciting.
Yeah, to do some stuff over there. But yeah, it's all kind of the PR stuff, which is just really cool to be traveling, and obviously traveling for music just kind of is the cherry on top.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for talking to Pop Scoop, Hamish.
No, thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And we can't wait to see the single perform from the 11th on iTunes, and then the EP on the 25th. So
yeah, awesome. Thanks very much.